Alright, folks, we have a fairly unique flight path here on this solo on Vikendi. I like it when the flight path isn't right down the middle. Makes it a little bit more fun and exciting. And I will still go with my typical villa drop, though. It's really one of the best places on this map, hands down. Kinda hate telling everyone that. It's just getting more popular, but means more killing opportunities. So it looked like there might be a ton of people, but we end up with, I believe, 4 drop in here. I do try to get an idea, obviously, how many people are landing, but the number one thing you want to focus on is getting yourself down properly without hitting a tree or taking damage, which is a little bit easier with the new parachuting mechanics. So everyone's looting up in our own little areas. Soul Taker here killed the other guy, so it's a one-on-one. I think he had an inkling that there were still guys here, but he did not fully know. Don't stand by open doors, Soul Taker. So I was crouch walking there up to him. He had no idea it was there. Gotta be real careful about standing in a doorway like that, as he learned the hard way. Alright, so after you secure a compound like that, you want to loot the heck out of it, assuming you have circle, which you almost always do in Villa. 80% of the time it's going to at least touch you. Loot, 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 loot. Then once you're done looting, usually a good idea to move more towards the middle of the circle if you're going for a win. I decided to loot those a little bit, and then press onwards. Loot that, work on looting here, and we'll see this guy Macrock, who's camping right here. We'll see him later. He probably would have done better to be a little bit more aggressive there. Finishing up looting here. Didn't want to wait too long. A big complex like this. My intuition kind of paid off because I might have ended up losing a battle to this guy Macrock. Also want you guys to keep an eye on Dewey WRX here. He's kind of a crazy type of player. I respect it though, driving around the whole map like a crazy man. So here my thought process was go to the next town, loot up more, get in the center, guard those buildings, and I hear all the fighting over here. And this fighting might actually save me. I do see the ghillie suit guy in there. Hit him once. I thought I hit him more than once. Thought about pushing, but pushing that would probably be a less than 50% chance to win. So instead, come over here, find a nice spot in the middle of the map in these woods to set up shop. Try to set up an ambush was my thought process, or at least survive. Now, these are the funny things you see watching replays back. Is right before I lay down, this guy was staring, and you can actually see me. Go back there for a second. If this guy had superhuman vision, you can see me out in the distance there. He might have actually caught a tiny glimpse of me, and that's why you'll see he stares right where I was and where I lay down. There I am. Thank God this guy does not have the superhuman vision. Oh, he's looking right where I was, so maybe he did see me. Thinks it's clear. We all know it's not clear. Voila. Tons and tons of loot. I'm feeling nice and strong. SMG takedown, no suppressor, but still it's only a few 100 meters of sound it makes, so I'm feeling pretty good about my spot still. Set up camp again. Very hard to be seen even wearing white camouflage and the red and brown foliage. Like I said, Dewey here is kind of a crazy man. He likes to drive through the map. I decided to try to light him up. Get some vehicle hits. Wasn't able to damage him, but if I showed you my point of view, I was leading by quite a lot with the ump there. Everyone knows my love for the ump, but you really got to get used to leading fast-moving far objects really good. Dewey comes over here, and these two dum-dums have a standoff of the ages. I want to point this out too because I watched this earlier, and these guys, they know each other. They know each one's there. The reason that Dewey knows driver's there is because he was not smart enough to stay silent. He likes to make all kinds of tiny little noises that he thinks aren't audible maybe, but they are very, very, very audible to a capable player. So anyone who wants to get really good at this game in a sneaky way, you got to be confident in your spot. You cannot just make stupid ass noises over and over and over, or it costs you. Back to my little bush spot. I knew that they're gonna have to push through here pretty soon. Anyone on the outside there, there'd be potential for more guys to catch. So this guy, Capo Calamity, he ran just southern enough of me that I wasn't able to see him. You get him, that's okay. Next circle's way over there. I knew I had time to run to it. I just wanted to see if I could catch any more guys coming, and just a tiny bit before I was going to leave, we see good old Mac Rock, the guy I was pointing out earlier, who was actually very close to me in the compound up here earlier. He decides to come crawling through my woods. Okay, not the best shooting. I'm not getting headshots there, but when you have an easy kill set up like that, you can take your time getting body shots. Not the end of the world. Morty here, Mr. Cheesy, Spoogie, these guys are just risking it a little too hard with the blue zone there. That strategy can work. We've all done it. We all have to do it, but a lot of times it's pretty risky. And I knew there was going to be a lot of guys migrating through, so that's why I decided to set up some good old border security here. Tons of people taking damage coming in. Stole the kill from Spoogie there. Thank you, Spoogie. To reward Spoogie for allowing me to get that nice easy kill, I decided, hey, just kill him too. You know? He doesn't have much health. He wasn't respecting the blue zone enough. So now he can go spectate me win the game if he wants. Cheesy made it in barely here. I actually had vision of Cheesy here, but that's kind of a, looks like a shadow there. I should have been able to spot that, his legs, but sometimes things work out for the better, so I don't engage him. And at this time I'm trying to decide, do I want to cut in straight there? Do I want to go far side or short side? And I decide I'm going towards Dewey, WRX, the crazy race car driver. And as I'm shooting him, Capo Calamity, the guy that ran by me earlier, finishes him off with the M24. Capo there, he heard me shooting, so being he seems like a pretty decent player, I knew he was going to most likely be camping my advancement here, but there's really no other option at that point. You just got to commit to getting in. You do not want to go slow and have to risk playing the blue zone, so I knew he was probably up in these buildings. Decided to push towards him. Hit him 3 times before he started hitting me. 4 times. He hit me 3. Neither of us were having great aim there. Especially him with the high ground and the fencing protecting him. And then we both get into a little nade war, for better or for worse. I've had a lot of great nades in this game. This was not one of them, although it was close. And from Calamity's perspective, you really gotta cook those nades longer. If he cooked those better, he could have got me. Do underhand throws. UMP's pretty good at getting bullets through that railing there, so I was able to win that fight just barely. And at this point, there's 4 enemies left. I knew there's probably not people in here because I heard fighting far off, and then on top of that, they probably would have pushed him and or me with that fighting. So I was feeling fairly confident, and I noticed that this little corner here was still in. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to camp up this little corner till the next circle, but I did want to make sure there was no one in here, so you got to be very careful when you're going in these rooms. And then there were 3 enemies left. We'll see here, Mixer. He is not the smartest player because he ends up dying to blue zone, which is just unacceptable late game like that. You got to give yourself a chance. You can't just throw it away after working that hard to get late game. Let's see if he had any kills even. No, so no kills on, at least in the recorded area for me. Whereas a guy like Kier here had 5, playing the game hard. This guy has a late kill or 2. Mixer, you gotta push in earlier, man. Come on. Back to me here. Circle's moving. I'm able to get in. I knew there was a guy on the right flank because he's throwing smokes. One of the reasons smokes can sometimes backfire. Then I hear the gunshot, look at the wrong rock, but just know if I keep looking, I'll probably spot him. 3 hits. Probably should have been able to finish him if I had a better gun. Might have wanted to grab the Kar 98 earlier, but I do like an AR as a range gun on this map. It's not the worst thing. And me damaging him was able to get him exposed while he's trying to heal for good old Hugh to kill him. As I said, Mixer over here did not even try to attempt to enter, so I knew it was just a 1 versus 1. I heard Hugh shooting, and it sounded pretty far away, so I knew this middle building was probably up for grabs and be a really strong point to take. Once you get into the 1 versus 1 like this, you gotta switch up your thinking. It's all about, obviously, the other person positioning, trying to think what information they know about you as opposed to what you know about them, stuff like that. I did make a lot of noise here. Just knowing I had the building protecting me was making me feel pretty confident. Confident enough to shoot the window instead of the enemy. That happens to all of us. Just gotta watch out for those windows in this game. So we both miss a bunch. Probably would have been a good idea to keep camping house like he thought I was. You can see he's staring at the window. Able to get a little bit of a jump on him. Keep shooting over the rock. real quick. I want to show it to you from my perspective here. Because this is an example of using your gun as a shield. Even though I probably shouldn't have moved there to the left, I still did, but I got my gun back up to the shield. You have to use your bullets as a shield. Keep shooting, Glock. Keep shooting, keep shooting. There you go. Get bullets out, especially late game. Alright, real quick, some of the things, takeaways from this game is if you're able to get on a migrant path like I did when I was hiding in the bushes there, it can be quite powerful. People don't really expect a lot of bush campers on this map because there's obviously different terrain than usual, but it's still very possible. And also, you know, setting up an ambush when the circle starts getting small on the boundary can be quite fruitful. So keep all that in mind. I hope you learned and enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys soon.